So I was reading the latest issue of Forbes, December 2017, and guess who made the Forbes 30 under 30? And not just made it, he had his own page with like his own photo shoot. Like look at all these other people who were just kind of mentioned but weren't named. This guy right here, HotShotGG, also known as George Joladidis. I know him as HotShotGG. I used to be a huge League of Legends fan. Used to watch all the pro games. This was years ago, back when HotShotGG was still a pro gamer, and he streamed, and he was one of the top streamers. Incredibly talented player. He could play any champion. But it was my own little niche world. Like in college, I went to a college with tens of thousands of people. There's only like a small handful of people who even understood this realm, this gaming thing. Even though like online on Twitch, there's hundreds of thousands of people playing this game, and some of the pro gamers were making full-time careers out of it. But it was still a niche world, and I felt a bit alone. But online, it was so amazing, and it's just really cool to see Hotshot, actually being recognized by one of the biggest mainstream magazines out there. It's really cool, and it just goes to show you that esports is really getting somewhere. Yeah, and there's all sorts of other people that are mentioned. Björgsen of Team Solo Mid. God, he's only 21 years old. Can you believe that? At the height of his career, which I think was about like 2 years ago, when he was, pretty much like one of the best mid laner in the world, or one of the best mid laners of the world, and everyone knew his name, and he had like 50,000 people live watching him stream constantly. He was only like 19 years old. He looked older. I thought he was at like, I guess that makes sense. Not really, but. And then there's all these other people, random people, other gamers I haven't heard of, other streamers. This guy, after he retired, if you're not familiar, the lifespan of a streamer is very short. Like, let me take that back. The lifespan of a video game professional in League of Legends is very short, typically. Like, you'll last like 3 years, maybe 4 if you're lucky. I think it's just because like there's no excuses, because it's not like a sport where you're completely physically exhausted, and therefore you're made to kind of play / practice 18 hours a day, and it's very mentally draining because it's very stressful, and so on and so forth. So they get burnt out after 3 or 4 years. There are exceptions of people who have lasted longer, but they are way below there. There's this guy, Lester Chen, never heard of him, but he's apparently the global head of esports YouTube. I don't really feel like YouTube's done much for esports as a whole. Like, I mean, they've helped with live streaming a bit, but not really sure why they're on. But I'm really glad that they chose Hotshot. I feel like okay, here's the judges. The judge was Sean Layden, president of Sony Interactive Entertainment, Ralph Reichert, CEO of ESL, Esports League maybe, and then Kim Swift, design director of EA Motive Studios. This is just really cool for me because, I mean, I'm just kind of echoing the esports community as a whole, which has been constantly, especially on Reddit and other places. Like, they can be pretty toxic too, which I don't like, but on the positivity side to them is that they've always been supporting each other and helping each other grow and promoting each other, so that esports is recognized more so by the mainstream. And this is done. Someone at Forbes recognizes esports, and there have been others like Mark Cuban who have come forward and really been invested and faithful in the growth of it. But it just goes to show you, I feel like if you just put out content and the truth is the truth, then you become so good that they can't ignore you. If the reality is that esports is so dominant that it should be recognized, then it will, whether or not others believe you. It's really cool. COG, I'm sure, Counter Logic Gaming has TSM as their one of their rivals, and you know, just like HotShotGG did, where he kind of started or like led this esports organization and then branched out to other games. Probably the other person on here that I am mad is not on here would be, you guessed it, Reginald of TSM. He's like the leader of probably one of the most successful esports organizations in existence. Also a pro gamer turned leader of an organization. I mean, he deserves to at least be on here. So I feel like there's some inaccuracies, but I don't know. I think nonetheless, this is pretty cool that this guy's on here. Of course, he's done a great job, not only just heading the organization, but also coordinating it. Of course, COG has never really done well at the international level of gameplay, and of course, Korea takes this a lot more seriously, and it's already mainstream there. But we're making strides here. I don't know if this will ever be truly mainstream, but maybe we don't want to. Maybe we don't need to. Maybe this is good enough. Like as long as we're having fun, and some of us are making a lot of money from it, then there you go. That's what it is. I kind of quit the League of Legends scene about a year and a half ago. It just I just playing the game. The game breeds toxicity and fighting because you have to work together, and it's a very easy game to blame others at. If you've ever heard anyone play the game, you're probably familiar with the toxicity. But I don't want to ramble here. That's it. I even cut this out of Forbes. Congrats, and we'll see where the world takes us.